don't know how to start. You don't know how to add takedowns and get good at wrestling when you didn't wrestle in high school or college. You're an adult and you're like, maybe this is a young guy sport. Maybe this isn't for me. Stop that. It's not true at all. Wrestling is in your DNA. It's the world's oldest sport. It's as old as we are. All right, we've been wrestling since the dawn of time. There's cave drawings in Europe that are 20,000 years old of people wrestling. Okay, so you can wrestle. If you're a human being, you can wrestle. It's in your blood. So how you need to think about wrestling when you haven't and you want to get good as an adult is you need to prioritize first and foremost, defense. Confidence on your feet comes from defense. Everyone thinks that confidence comes from offense. If I know with a reasonable sense of reliability, I can defend pretty much anything Eddie throws at me, I'm very calm on my feet. I can stay here all day. I don't even need to know takedowns. I can just stand in front of him, wear him out by allowing him to attack and just defending. All right, that's obviously not our end goal in its entirety, but that's a part of our end goal. And when you are just focused on defending, when that's your only goal, I do this exercise with every young team that I work with. I split them into an A and a B group, and an A group is offense, B group is defense. And the only job of the B group is just to defend for a minute straight. And the only job of the A group is just to attack and be offensive for a minute straight. At the end of that drill, I ask everybody, what did you notice about the drill? And always we notice two things. When you're just focusing on defense, number one, it's very easy to defend when that's all you're focusing about. You're basically cutting your attention in half when you're trying to focus on defense and offense at the same time. So you're able to relax and just think about one thing at a time. And that's the second thing, is that it's much less energy intensive than being the offensive person. So we get to relax, we get to defend more easily, and then we also get to not expend so much energy, which really are the two things that you want to prioritize on your feet when you're brand new. You want to be able to relax, and you want to be able to not expend so much energy, right? So you can kind of get your sea legs. You can kind of get familiar with the position before you start opening up and attacking. So how do we do that? What are some simple ways we can easily defend when we haven't wrestled and we're trying to learn how to wrestle for jiu-jitsu on our feet when we're brand new? All I want to introduce you to is down blocking, okay? So down blocking, or hand replaces foot, is the action of me catching my opponent's attempt, mid-attempt, and pushing their appendage away. So when I go to attack, let's say I'm doing a single leg, he's gonna catch my arm anywhere between my wrist and my elbow, and you're good. He's just looking to push his hand down and scoop away, okay? So as I go to reach, he pulls that leg back and scoops my arm away. So we also call this hand replaces foot because it's descriptive of the action itself. So if it were a double leg, he'd put both arms down and scooch both legs away. So as I go to double leg here, he pushes down and away. If I go to sweep single this side, it's that arm. And you can pick this up very quickly, guys. And it's way less energy intensive than sprawling. Sprawling, you're essentially doing a down up, right? And you may be doing a sprawl off of an opponent's fake. So you just sprawled and did a down up for nothing. Can you do 10, 15, 20 down ups in addition to wrestling an entire match, right? Or wrestling for jiu-jitsu? It's very difficult, it's a high energy expenditure. Down blocking costs you very little energy. And it's just as effective as sprawling. You can think of this as a standing guard, okay? So I can literally stand directly in front of a person and guard myself from any leg attack with my arms. Once you've had a reasonable amount of success with your down blocking, you feel like you're standing in front of people and you're catching, 50 to 60% of their shots on the way in, now is not the time to jump straight into takedowns. All right, after you've built your standing guard, I want you to then just think about setups. Just think about the hand fight, okay? Think about some hand fight configurations you're trying to get to that can then lead to takedowns. And one of those hand fight configurations is an inside wrist grip with an over tie, right? There are many different hand fight configurations you can get to, but one of them that leads to many different takedowns, it's a positional setup to many different takedowns, is this position here. So one of the things that you can do is reach up with your back hand and create a collar tie. So as we're closing distance, I'm gonna grab a collar tie. What's the most common thing in the world is for him to pummel this hand inside. He's gonna create a collar tie. And with his other hand, he's gonna make contact as well. And as he makes contact, I'm just gonna grab that wrist and peel. So what your goal is to get to this position consistently. So let's say I walk up, I collar tie, he inside collar ties, and I battle and I get this wrist. Okay, I got here. This is awesome. Now I'm just gonna break away. I'm gonna break away, and my goal is to get back to that position. See how quickly I can get back to that position, because every opponent isn't going to give you the same reactions. So you may have slightly different flows to get to that position, right? I may collar tie, he may over tie, or he may go into an over tie. He may go right into an over tie here, okay? And this hand may stay back. It might stay back, so I might have to reach back and get it. And now from here, there's a lot of takedowns I can do from an inside collar tie in this position, but my goal is, remember, is to get to the control center. That's what we call this position, the control center. So to get there, if my opponent didn't pummel inside, all I have to do is pummel to the outside, and look where I am. Because guys, there's so many attacks I can do from this position. So many attacks, okay? I can do shuck-bys, slide-bys, post to my shot. I can even rotate this off and go to my 2-on-1. There's just a host of options. And the reason we want to be on the outside here, guys, is because if I give him, and everyone's taught to fight for inside position in wrestling, when you're on your feet for grappling, any type of grappling, everyone's always taught to pummel for inside position. So I'm going to give him something he wants, so he has the false sense of security here. He's more likely to let me hang out on this wrist a little bit longer and not fight me so hard if I give him something that he wants on the opposite side, okay? So I create an over tie on this side, and now once I'm here, like, okay, I got to this position again, I'm gonna break away. And this is where you have to introduce a little bit of your own creativity. How can I get back to that position? We've built a standing guard. We're consistently getting to our setup, our positional area that is a setup for all of our other takedowns. Now you can start focusing on takedowns, the third and final step. Now you can rely on your defensive guard down blocking as a form of muscle memory, because you've prioritized it in a way that it created muscle memory as your first area of focus. And now I can think about the third and final step, the takedown, okay? So once we're here, one of the main takedowns, this is one of the first takedowns I teach anybody who's new at jiu-jitsu, just so they can get their feet wet and start experiencing some success on their feet, is the shuck-by, all right? And we're not gonna go over every little detail right now, but just to give you the broad strokes, what I wanna do is make sure whatever side his collar tie is on, that's the leg that I have forward, because I'm gonna rotate on my feet and shuck and slide him right on through. If my other leg was forward, I would then rotate into my own legs. So what I'm gonna do is just charge him up. I'm gonna push into him for the sole purpose of getting him to push back. Right now I can feel him push back. I just need a little bit of pressure. It's like somebody who's leaning on a door, right? I just need you leaning on it a little bit, and then I'm on the other side and I'm gonna rip the door open as you fall through. So here I am, I use my head to push into him, and then as he pushes back, I'm gonna duck my head in a swooping motion. I'm gonna duck my head and guide him right on forward. And when you hit this correctly, you time it correctly, you oftentimes get them to fall right to turtle. So here I am on my over tie, inside wrist grip, I push forward, as he pushes back, I shuck, and there we are, right into turtle. If you wanna know every little detail on how to do the shuck-by, how to do it appropriately, what foot configuration to have, how to hit it on nearly every single one of your opponents in practice tonight, I teach it to you in a takedown mini course that's in the comments in the description below. So make sure that you download that before you leave today. This is Coach Adam with Wrestling University, reminding you to always start standing.